The story begins in the serene coastal setting of Rosarito Beach in Baja California. This picturesque location has become home to Nero, a former Special Forces operative who has deliberately chosen this quiet existence far from the violence and chaos that once defined his life. He lives here with his young son Taylor in a modest dwelling that overlooks the beach.
Oh yeah, thanks a lot for cooking me that breakfast, Dad.
The two of them forming a tight unit bound by shared loss and mutual dependence. Nero's wife, Taylor's mother, died some time ago, under circumstances that haunt the household like an invisible presence. This fragile peace shatters without warning on what begins as an ordinary day. Nero is going about his routine when he feels a sudden sharp impact against his body. When Nero's eyes open again, the disorientation is immediate and total. Taylor is gone. Nero searches the house with mounting desperation. The voice on the other end belongs to a man he's never met, someone whose identity is concealed but whose confidence and authority are unmistakable. This is not a panicked criminal making demands beyond his capacity to fulfill. He provides visual evidence that he controls Taylor's fate absolutely. Through the phone's screen, Nero sees live footage of his son. The boy is inside a truck. And even through the limited view provided by the camera, Nero can see the tube that has been rigged from the vehicle's exhaust pipe into the enclosed space where Taylor sits. The implication is brutally clear. At any moment, the kidnapper can flood that confined space with carbon monoxide, and Taylor will die from poisoning. Nero will become an instrument of murder, a weapon wielded by this unknown man against targets that will be designated one by one. These are not innocent people. The kidnapper is careful to establish that much. Nero is given a tactical vest that has been specially modified to include a body camera. This camera will transmit everything Nero sees and does back to his mysterious controller, ensuring constant surveillance and preventing any possibility of deception or deviation from the assigned tasks. Most notably, he's provided with a heavily armored Chevrolet Suburban, a beast of a vehicle with bulletproof modifications that will serve as both transportation and mobile fortress. The targets are crime lords, cartel leaders, the most dangerous and heavily protected criminals operating in the region. Each assassination will be extraordinarily difficult and extremely dangerous, requiring all of Nero's Special Forces training and combat experience. Failure at any stage will result in Taylor's immediate death. The rules are simple and absolute. Kill who you're told to kill, when you're told to kill them, or your son dies. The primary voice, the man orchestrating everything, is identified as Mzamo, a name that carries weight in the criminal underworld of the region. Mzamo is not alone in his control room or wherever he's observing from. With him is Alonza, a woman who appears to be both his romantic partner and his confederate in this criminal enterprise. Other members of Mzamo's cartel are present as well, watching the proceedings with the interest of people who have a stake in the outcomes. More disturbingly, several individuals present are corrupt intelligence agents, operatives who should be working to enforce law and order but who have instead sold their allegiance to the highest bidder. Leading this group of traitorous agents is a man named Donovan, whose role in these events will prove to be far more personal than Nero initially realizes. The first target is assigned without ceremony. Nero is directed to a restaurant, an establishment that serves as both legitimate business and front for the operations of the Roja and Garza cartels. Nero engages the cartel members with lethal intent, using superior training and marksmanship to overcome superior numbers. The restaurant becomes a battleground. The mission is complete. Everyone in that restaurant is dead. Mzamo's voice comes through whatever communication device Nero is carrying, confirming the successful completion of the first task and immediately assigning the second. There is no respite, no time to process what has just occurred.
I hired the right guy for the job.
Listos!
Listos!
The next target is identified as Eleazar Machado, a name that carries particular infamy in the regional criminal ecosystem. Machado's operations are varied and uniformly vile. He runs prostitution rings that traffic in human misery, operates racketeering schemes that bleed businesses and individuals, orchestrates kidnappings for ransom or other purposes, and has been responsible for bombing attacks that have killed civilians along with whatever targets he was actually aiming for. Machado is a monster even by the standards of the criminal underworld. Nero infiltrates the facility, and once again the body camera transmits every moment of what follows. The den becomes a battlefield. Machado's men respond to the intrusion with violence, pulling weapons and attempting to stop this lone intruder who has appeared in their midst like an avenging angel. But Nero is operating on a level they cannot match. His training, his experience, his sheer desperation to save his son. All of these factors combine to make him virtually unstoppable.
And his limey ass gets torn to shreds.
He fights through Machado's forces with brutal efficiency, each encounter ending with more bodies on the floor. Machado himself tries to flee or fight, but there is no escape and no defense adequate to save him. Nero kills him, fulfilling the second assignment and moving one step closer to his son's freedom. After Machado's death is confirmed, Mizamo grants Nero a brief reward for his compliance and success, the opportunity to speak with Taylor. Nero uses this precious moment of communication to tell his son something important. The name Nero is not the name given to him at birth. It's a cover identity, a false name used during his operational career with an intelligence agency. His work was classified, dangerous, carried out in shadows and secrecy to protect both himself and his family. But someone within that agency betrayed him. His true identity was exposed, his cover blown by a traitor operating from within the organization he had served faithfully. The consequences of that betrayal were devastating. His wife, Taylor's mother, was kidnapped as leverage or punishment, or perhaps simply because she became vulnerable once Nero's real identity was known to his enemies. And despite everything Nero tried to do to save her, she was killed. The loss broke something fundamental in Nero's world. Consumed by grief and rage, he hunted down everyone responsible for her death. He found them one by one and killed them, exacting personal justice outside any legal framework because the legal framework had failed to protect his family. The agency responded to this vigilante campaign by removing Nero from active duty. Recognizing that he and Taylor were ongoing targets as long as his enemies knew where to find them, the agency relocated them to Mexico, specifically to the quiet beaches of Rosarito, where they were supposed to be safe and anonymous and able to build a new life. The voice of Mizamo confirms something that must feel like a knife twisting in an old wound. Donovan, one of the corrupt intelligence agents observing the missions through the body camera feed, was the traitor who betrayed Nero all those years ago. Donovan was the one who exposed Nero's identity, setting in motion the chain of events that led to his wife's kidnapping and murder. After Nero's vengeful campaign against those directly responsible, Donovan was instrumental in relocating Nero and Taylor to Mexico. Donovan knew exactly what he was doing. He moved Nero to this location specifically because he was planning to use him. By working with Mizamo and positioning Nero in a location where he could be easily controlled and monitored, Donovan created a situation where Nero could be weaponized against Mizamo's rival criminal organizations. Every target Nero has been sent to kill serves Mizamo's interests by eliminating competition and threats. The third target assignment comes with heightened stakes. Nero is directed to eliminate Omar Chavez, identified as an arms dealer whose operations involve the sale of weapons to various criminal enterprises and possibly to insurgent or terrorist groups. Chavez is not just another cartel leader. He is a personal rival of Mizamo, someone competing for the same illicit markets and resources. Chavez has put the pieces together or received information, suggesting that something unusual is happening, that someone is systematically eliminating major criminal figures in the region. The infiltration begins much like the previous missions, with Nero using his skills to bypass perimeter security and engage the defending forces. He manages to eliminate a number of Chavez's men, reducing the numerical advantage arrayed against him. But Chavez himself is no ordinary criminal. He's cautious, experienced, and heavily armed. As Nero presses deeper into the estate, Chavez gets the drop on him. A gunshot rings out, and Nero goes down, wounded. In the exchange, Chavez's return fire destroys the body camera that has been transmitting Nero's every action back to Mizamo and his observers. Mizamo responds decisively, deploying his own men to Chavez's estate to finish what Nero started and to tie up the loose ends that Nero's apparent death has created. Chavez has him bound and begins an interrogation, trying to understand who sent this highly skilled operative to kill him and why. During this interrogation, Mizamo's reinforcements arrive at the estate. Chavez dies, and Nero claims one of the vehicles from the estate, driving away from the scene of carnage with a destination now fixed clearly in his mind, Mizamo's estate, where his son is being held. At Mizamo's headquarters, the criminal leader and his associates are operating under the belief that Nero has been killed at Chavez's estate. This false assumption leads Donovan to make his move, asking for the keys to the truck where Taylor is imprisoned. Donovan's intention is transparent to anyone watching his body language and hearing his tone. He plans to kill the boy by releasing carbon monoxide into the truck's sealed cargo area. With Nero dead, Taylor represents a loose end, a witness, a complication that Donovan wants eliminated. But when Donovan is given the keys and goes to carry out his grim task, he makes a discovery that transforms the situation entirely. The boy is not in the truck. Mizamo has moved the child to a different secure location. The reason becomes apparent upon reflection. By moving Taylor to a location only Mizamo knows, he has protected both the boy and his own interests, ensuring that the agents cannot simply kill everyone involved and walk away clean. Nero arrives at Mzamo's estate. The estate's defenses engage him immediately, but Nero fights through them with the same brutal efficiency he demonstrated in his first missions. The estate descends into complete chaos as multiple factions turn on each other. The corrupt intelligence agents who came to Mexico expecting to profit from their alliance with Mzamo suddenly realize that their position has become untenable. Some of them try to eliminate Mzamo and seize control of the situation. Others attempt to flee, recognizing that everything has gone catastrophically wrong. When the gunfire finally stops and the last body falls, Mzamo, having survived the purge of his own headquarters, orders his remaining people to bring Taylor forward. And for the first time in days, father and son are in the same space again. The crime lord proposes an agreement, a détente that will allow both parties to walk away from the situation. He will let Nero and Taylor leave. There will be no pursuit, no retaliation, no further threats. Mzamo doesn't care as long as they're gone. It's a generous offer from a man who could instead order his remaining forces to kill both of them.